it's gonna be very exciting. I've got some amazing things to show. You won't believe it, I'm sure. You will come to me at the end of the presentation and tell me, yes, it was exciting. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, and I don't want to talk about, is Fusion 3. We've got plans for Fusion 3. We had a big meeting in Center Parcs in February, where we designed all the feature list of Fusion 3 during a week. So we've got the feature list, but I actually cannot talk about it because there might be some competitor spy in the audience. We don't know. There is a small chance, but everything we say is going to be broadcast on the internet, and we don't want our nice ideas to be stolen. So the only thing I can say is that Fusion 3, first of all, it's going to be called Fusion 3 and not Multimedia Fusion 3. So Fusion 3 is going to work on everything, on phone, tablets, Mac, Linux, Unix, PCs, everything. That's all I can say. And it's going to be great. But what I can talk about is Fusion 2.5. Fusion 2.5 is... I'm going to start my presentation. Okay. Fusion 2.5 codename Refresh. Refresh because we wanted to access everything that was annoying or not working or outdated in Multimedia Fusion. So we accessed all the major areas of the software. So let's go, I will make a tour of all the different areas. First one, generalities. It's only be a unique version. For the moment, you had the normal non-HDUP hardware accelerated version, you had the hardware accelerated version, and then you had the Unicode version, which was not hardware accelerated. Now you have one version, which is hardware accelerated and Unicode. So it's a lot simpler. We will release a free demo version that will include the HTML5 runtime. It's going to be a limited version. For example, you won't be able to have more than 20 different objects at the same time on the screen, or more than 3 frames, or more than 100 events. But apart from these limitations, you will be able to create games with it and make them in HTML5. You will have an act screen when you run the game. That's all. If you go over the limits, the game will run for 1 minute with a counter on the top left. It has a better UI. So I will show you how the UI has been improved. So first of all, you can see that you've got new toolbars. So flat toolbars. Now you can drag the toolbars wherever you want. If I want it there, I put it there. Much better. Reduced MFA size. You certainly have not noticed that the size of MFA with MMF 2.0 is quite big if you start to have a lot of pictures. The size is divided by 3 or 4 with Fusion 2.5. It's going to be Fusion 2.5. The properties, something that was really missing, it's the tab key So now, for example, if I go, let's drop an object. If I go there, tab. Oh, sorry. Okay, it's going to speed up a lot entering properties. Better build type combo box, because it was a bit messy, so now it's sorted with the different runtimes and the different options. New tabs for various runtimes, so before it was a bit of a mess. The Windows runtime was in the main tab, and now it has got its own tabulation with the different options. So each runtime has got its own tab. Better window size property. Before, when the size of the property bar was not large enough, you could not see the button, so you had to enlarge it. So now, whatever the size, you see the button and you can open it. And more. So let's go on. The frame editor. Frame editor has got new tools. So the first new tool is the freehand tool. Sorry? Oh yeah. Just like in Click and Play, you can drop the object as you wish, or you can even paint with the object. Why isn't the hand available?
Elle est disponible, c'est Nico qui est là.
Ah d'accord.
Et la main, elle est déjà là.
Okay, you can also grab the hand. The layer bar has been vastly improved. First of all, it opens and closes automatically, so I'm going to untick that. I'm going to create new layers and drag and drop. So now I've got different layers with all different objects. Automatically hide unselected layers. So if I check this mark, when I change the layer, I only see the layer that is selected. And another one which is cool, automatically lock the unselected layers. So if I untick this one, I can only select one object, the one in the current layer. So this will save a lot of time, Search in insert object. If I do an insert object, I now have a search bar. So if I search for text object, I've got all the objects that deals with text. It does a search in the name of the object, but also in the description of the object. And it will implement it so that it does a search in the actions and the conditions of the objects. Frames can be larger than 32,767. New object manager in the insert object. For the moment, the extensions, dealing with extensions in MMF is a mess. So you will have a button, extension manager, that will open a box saying, here are the extensions installed in your machine, here are the extensions available on the server, do you want to install this one, this one? So it's going to be very easy. Okay. Picture editor. eventually, but no, this is done. Drag and drop of image files. So, well, I will. Sorry. Well, you can now drag a BMP or PNG directly in the picture editor, and the swap color button no work because it didn't work before. You n'avez pas? There was no. So it didn't work. I was right. And other improvement if times are low. The event editor, a lot of changes in the event editors. So I'm going to load an application. The famous Zeb. Okay, first of all, it is skinnable. So you can change everything. So there I've got an ugly font and I've got ugly colors. But you will be able to create your own skins and you will be able to change it as you want. And there will be a skin library online, so you will be able to choose your skins. So I'm going to quit. How do I come back to the... Okay. Skins. Okay. So now if I load that. Okay. This is a preview of the default skin that we want to publish with the product. There are still some little problem like this one, double line here. So what you can see is that you now have a horizontal and vertical line showing exactly where the mouse is. It's on your horizontal when you're in the conditions. And you also have a tooltip with the name of the object on which you are, which is going to be very handy when you deal with large projects. What else? So highlight of line and column, tooltip. It's not implemented in this version, but it will be a pixel precise scrolling. Filter object by name, you will click on the filter, you will have filter object by name, you enter a name, or it can be active star, and then it will filter the object, only the object with this name will be displayed. Search in event, conditions and actions. Else if, as you have a or, you can have a else if. So you have one group of conditions. If this group of conditions is not satisfied, the second group after the else if is executed. And you can have another one, and another one, and another one. If condition, else if conditions, etc. So it's going to be very, very powerful. And a feature that a lot of people have asked for is comment align. So you just right click on the button of the events and say comment line, and it will be inactive instead of having to put a never at the start of the conditions. And more. Event list editor, I can't show you anything, so it's going to be skinnable. It will have, oh yeah, you haven't seen the new icons, new system icons. We'll read on them. So skinnable, new icons, new comment event line, and search in event and conditions and actions. The expression editor, no work is done yet in it. It will display the objects in a in the bottom of the calculator, so you won't have to click on get data from object. It will be displayed all the time. It will be a modern syntax, object.functions bracket parameters, so instead of functions of bracket quote object quote comma parameters, which is awkward. It will automatically check for the syntax. You will have a red and green indicator if the expression is correct or not, and the undo will work. The action editor will be skinnable, and there will be a new action at the end of the list, because for the moment you were obliged to do insert action and then drag the action at the end of the list, which was not practical at all. The debugger, size and positions are restored. The content of the debugger is going to be restored. For example, you are debugging your application, you drop one of the object of the application, you open it and you explore alterable value B. The next time you run, it will be open at the exact same place with the same object with alterable value B. So it's going to make things a lot easier. If you, by mistake, close the debugger, you will have a new show debugger option in the system menu of the game. New actions and conditions, distance and angle, so distance between 2 points or distance between one object and a point, angle of a point or angle of an object, range and random range. For example, if you do range of 1 to 10 of a number, it will make sure that the number is between 1 and 10. Random range will take a random number between 1 and 10. These were things that were obviously missing from MMF 2.0, single things. For one or two objects, so I can show you this one, it doesn't work, so but I can show you how it's done. You've got 10 of one object, 10 of a second object. What you want to do is put each one of the second object in front of each one of the first object, okay? So what you do, always, start loop for each one of object 1 and object 2 with the name of the loop, on each one of first object, on each one of second object, set position. Instead of having to spread a value in an alterable value and then starting a for each loop, etc. A fast loop, it was really annoying and very slow. This is really fast. Expressions in timer conditions. So let's do something. I'm going to drop a counter. So when I press the space key, timer, fire event after a given delay, 1 second. And timer on event. Add to counter. Okay, so if I run it, press space after 1 second. And the other one will shoot a number of events every time after a certain delay. So it's really, up to now, what you have to do is set a counter to 100, make it go to 0, and then when it reaches 0, do the action you want. Now you use that and it's very easy. Objects. Screen zoom for all runtimes. For the moment, it's only for the HTML5 runtime, but I'm going to show it to you. Okay, where is it? It's on this one. Zoom and rotate layers and the main screen. It's very fast, it's very effective, it's amazing. So this game was made by Patrice. You have a shake action. So this will be for all the runtime, eventually not for the C++ runtime, it depends on if it's feasible or not, but all the other runtime it will be implemented, which is a really cool feature. Multi-touch, gesture recognition. So I'm going to load first of all, I will show you another program made by Patrice. Okay. This program allows you to record your gestures to be recognized by the software. So there I've got different gesture, up, an O. I make a swipe. Swipe. I make a O. O. So it will work on every runtime, on the tablets, etc. So it's very powerful. Timer fire events, sub-application. Now you can set the width and the height of the sub-application, so you're not limited to the width and height of the original frame. Runtime. Everything I'm going to show you today, maybe not for screen zoom, is going to be ported to all runtime. The fast loop are going to be faster. And on HTML5, you will be able to build and run your application via Wi-Fi. So you have your tablet beside your computer. You click build and run, and it runs on your tablet immediately, which is really cool. And last but not least, Box 2D. 9 new movements, 7 new objects, 100% integrated in MMF. Works with MMX logic, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm not kidding. Okay, I will first of all load my little library and create a new application. The first object I'm going to show physics is the engine. It contains the Box 2D engine. It has a number of settings. the gravity angle, and a few settings that I won't go into detail. Now I'm going to drop an object, like a small box. Where is my box? My box is here. Okay. And go in the movements. Now I've got 9 new movements. I'm going to choose the static movement. Static movement, so if I run my game, you can see that the static movement is not static. It responds to the gravity. So it's fully integrated with MMF logic. So new condition, position, test position of box, on the left, bottom, right, top, box, stop. It just fell. Okay. I'm going to use the paint function. Okay, so what I need to do now is collision between box and box, box, stop. So this is the static movement, but you've got different kinds of movement. I will add some triangles with static movement as well. So it automatically detects the size, the shape of the objects, as long as it's a convex shape, because box 2D doesn't like concave shapes. It has to be convex. So a triangle is a good shape for it. So you can see the shape is properly detected. So let's talk about the other movements. I will take this big box object.
I think I have too many questions.
Oh, what I have to do is assign, just draw a line. All the hotspots have, for box 2D to work, you have to have all the hotspots at the center of mass of your objects. So if it's a square, it's obviously in the center. Okay? So now I'm going to assign an A direction movement. And it's a box, so I will take the collision shape as a box. So if I run it. So first of all, you see now that the object rotates in the direction it's supposed to go. You can set the speed of the rotation, etc. You can, if you want, set the gravity for this individual object. So for the moment it's set at 0, but if I set it at 10, and run it, you can see that the object falls. If I want to make the object fly, I just set it at -10. Oh, sorry.
It flew away.
Okay, sorry. Of course, these objects interact with the other objects. So collision between big box and triangle. Big box stops, triangle stops, relation between big box and little box stops, and little box stops. Etc. So you've got other kinds of movements. Actually, you've got all the movements of MMF. So you've got the bouncing ball movement. Uh-oh. I'm going to run it in HTML5. For some reason, it's less bugged in HTML5. Now, if I can't show in HTML5, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to change maybe the territorial here. Un bit tout seul, tu crois? Quoi? C'est normal?
Non. C'est pas une version finale. On resélectionne l'HTML5 développement. En but. En type de but.
Pardon?
Ah non, tu es en train de lancer la deuxième application.
Ah oui.
On supprime là. Ah oui, non.
Bah non, j'étais dedans.
Non, c'est dans l'application 1 là. Il faut que tu mettes l'application 1 dans HTML5. Fais l'application 1. Pas clique sur l'application 1. Voilà.
Ah. So as you can see, it works. It doesn't bounce on the boxes because there are some properties that I can show you. If I click on this one, you've got a property which is called friction. No, sorry, you've got the elasticity of the object. An elasticity of 0 will make the other objects stop when they collide with the object. An elasticity of 100 will make them bounce. So if I set the elasticity, okay. I hope it will work. Okay, another kind of movement is, what can I show you? Bouncing ball is done. Race car movement. Which is basically the same, you just turn, but it interacts with the other objects. Another kind of movement, spaceship. I don't know why I launched it in HTML5. So you press Shift and then you accelerate in the direction you're facing, etc. Okay, one movement I want to show you is now the platform movement, which has been vastly improved. So I've got Romeo. So let's make Romeo lead the play area. Romeo stop. Romeo collides with the small box. Romeo stop. Small box stop. Romeo collides with the triangle. Romeo stop. The triangle stop. I also have to add this one for the triangle. No, it's not this one. Triangle, play area, triangle stop. So I'm going to show it in HTML5 because there's the bug in the C++ version. So you can see it's already pushed. It's pushing all the objects. So you can limit the number of jumps to 1 or 2. You can set the speed of the second jump, the further jump. You can say that you have control while jumping or not. And of course it responds to obstacles and platforms and ladders. So it's very advanced and it really worked well. So there I can climb on the... I bounce because I set the elasticity to 100. So remember. So it opens a lot of possibilities of games. What movement? Yes, I can show you this one. It's a spring movement to create a spring in a platform game. I'm sorry we don't have nice demos to show. Patrice is going to show one that was made with an earlier version that doesn't work with this version. Unfortunately, this is the reason why I can show it to you. Uh-oh, doesn't work. Okay, the spring object is bugged. Okay, I know it. If I do it in C++, no. Okay, it should jump. Now, we've seen the movements, we can see the objects. So if I do insert object, let's first use the particle object. I'm going to remove this guy. Okay. The particle object, as its name indicates, creates particle. You've got preset particles, so if I run it, so let's have a bit of fun. Particle object, a particle leaves the frame on the left. So I couldn't put the same dialog box, so it's one for on the left, one for on the right, one for on the bottom, and I'm going to make particle collide with another particle. Then I will do stop particle. So So the particle object is quite powerful. You can set the particle origin to be from a point or, and select the direction. So for example, if I say upward, you can set a variation in the angle. So there it will go 15 degrees on the left and 15 degrees on the right. So if I run it, you can see, you can't see it really, but they are created going upward. You can also say it's created from a zone. In this case, it's very easy to make, for example, a rain. Okay. I'm going to create the particle going downward. I'm going to slow them down. Initial speed, I would say 10. Angle interval 0. So if I run it, as you can see, you can create rain effect very easily. And of course, the particle can interact with the other objects. It's very easy. Another object which is rather cool is the fan object. So let's put, I'm going to reduce the number of particles created. So the fan object will make the other objects move in its direction. I will put it on, we'll see what it does. So I'm going to make it go to the right. Is it going to crash? Yes! As you can see, the particles are not, they should be, but the other objects are. Another object is the magnet object. So I'm going to put it here. So if I run it, is it going to crash? So you can see, I'm going to remove the particle object. The objects are attracted. Okay. Another object that I like very much is the rope and chain object. So there I'm going to push these guys in the left. I'm going to make a rope out of 20 elements. It will start on the right. Uh-oh! The C++ version needs some debugging. Uh-oh, it do. So I'm going to, okay, so I won't be able to show what I want to show. So it's really cool. can say an element of the rope collide with another object. It's going to crash. Stop. Well, let's try. I did some major changes last week, so. Yeah, it does crash. Okay. But the rope should be pushed by the big object, and you can also climb on the rope, one element at a time, upward or downward, and you'll be able to cut the rope in two, in three, etc. So it's going to be great. Let me see if I forget one object. The treadmill object, which is going to crash. So I'm going to go on the right, speed 30. Yes, in HTML5. Uh-oh. So you can see it works. I can't go in. Now I can. And I crash. Well, that's it for what's new in Fusion 2.5. I think it's quite a lot. The quality of the games you'll be able to create is going to change radically. You'll be able to make very complex games. Oh, I forgot to show you something. Let me take Romeo. Okay, I've got to put a few events. Romeo, position, test position. Stop. Okay, so if I run it in HTML5, it's the old Romeo, okay? But now let's play with the gravity. Let's put the gravity on the right. And the gravity on the top, etc. You don't even need to turn the images of your object, that is done automatically. Yes?
Can you change that at runtime, the gravity, in the event editor?
Yes.
You can, okay. Thank you.
So that's about it. So in this movement, I've been trying to put all the power of Box2D, and this power of Box2D is enormous, in a simple and usable way, using the MMF interface, not to change your habits. Make it simple to use and powerful. That's it.
32 directions.
Yes, by an action.
Okay.
Yes?
Can we change gravity only per object, or it's for the whole world?
You can, if you can change the global gravity,
Okay.
and per object is a percentage of the global gravity you to use.
Okay.
It's a percentage. So if it's 100, it will use the global gravity.
Hmm.
If it's 10, it will use 10% of the global gravity.
Okay.
Do you have the angry game example?
Patrice can show it. Yeah, catch the question?
Is Fox too big for all runtime?
Yes.
I love that. When's it coming out?
So we're going to show you a game created in, how long did it take you, Nico, to make Angry Birds? Combien de temps ça t'a pris de faire l'Angry Birds? 10 minutes. A game made in 10 minutes. Well, say 1 hour.
That's pretty wild.
So it is dead easy to make this kind of game.
Can you show us the events?
Oh.
Justin carry on.
It works on a tablet where there's multiple touch objects.
Angry Birds has 29 events. On how long it took. Rodeo.
Oh yeah?
With physics, can you change the shape, the condition shape manually?
No, Box2D doesn't like it very much. It takes the initial shape of the first image, actually the image on the right of the first animation, stop animation, and uses it for the rest. This is why it's called Box2D. Yes?
2 questions. One, will the collision system work if we do like that stop animation will be like collision mask, and we will manually change to user animations all the time?
Yeah.
So user animation will be only displayed. And okay. And the other one, will there be any physics for liquids?
No, it doesn't. Box2D, it's not liquid.
Okay.
You can make a fan that pushes objects upwards.
Okay.
Yes?
Is there any availability for fog of war,
For what?
like dark shroud areas?
I think you should use a shader for that.
Okay.
Or you can have a little semi-transparent object with a shader moved by Box2D. Oh, something I forgot. It is possible to mix non-Box2D movements and Box2D movements at the same time. You've got an option in the engine object that will automatically add a non-Box2D object in the world. The Box2D doesn't like it very much, so the interaction is somewhat limited. The objects do stop, but it doesn't push the other object. But it can be very useful. For example, in a platform game, if you've got a guard walking from left to right, you put a path movement for it. So you can use the path movement in a physical world.